The village revered him as a sage. His wisdom was legendary, his heart pure. For decades he lived a simple life, residing in a humble hut by the Ganga. People from distant lands flocked to him, seeking solace, guidance and blessings. They came bearing gifts, gold, silver and precious stones, offerings laid at his feet with reverence and hope. The sage, unmoved by material wealth, accepted these tokens with a gentle smile. He saw them not as possessions, but as symbols of faith. He would distribute everything among the less fortunate before the sun dipped below the horizon. This act of selflessness further amplified the villagers' adoration. They whispered tales of his saintly nature, his spirit untouched by greed or desire. Every day, as the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and pink, the sage would walk down to the river. The villagers believed those waters held sacred powers, cleansing the soul and rejuvenating the spirit. He would offer his prayers, his chants echoing in the stillness of dawn, carrying a sense of peace that permeated the entire village. Word of the sage's wisdom and generosity spread far and wide. It reached the ears of a sly thief, notorious for his cunning and audacity. He saw an opportunity in the sage's piety, a chance to exploit the very faith that made him revered. The thief, a master of disguise, transformed himself into a humble student. He shed his opulent robes for the simple garb of a seeker, his eyes reflecting feigned admiration. For weeks he sat amongst the sage's disciples, listening intently, observing every ritual, meticulously crafting his facade. He played the devoted student to perfection, winning the sage's trust with every passing day. The sage, oblivious to the deception, saw in the new student a thirst for knowledge. He answered his questions with patience, sharing his wisdom freely, nurturing what he believed was a genuine desire for enlightenment. The thief, however, saw it as a game, a meticulously planned heist, his every action a step closer to his ultimate goal, the sage's treasure. One morning, the sage announced a ritualistic bath in the sacred river. It was an auspicious day, and he invited all his disciples to join him. The thief saw this as his golden opportunity. Away from the watchful eyes of the villagers, the riverbank provided the perfect cover for his sinister plan. As the sage waded into the flowing water, his eyes closed in prayer. The thief followed, his heart pounding with anticipation. The other disciples, lost in their own reverence, noticed nothing amiss. The cool water swirled around them, the sound of the river a soothing melody against the backdrop of chanted prayers. The moment arrived. The thief, his hand trembling slightly, reached out towards the sage. He felt the small pouch tied to the sage's waist. Heavy with what he imagined were precious stones and gold. His fingers closed around it, and in a swift, silent motion, he detached it, hiding it within his own wet garment. The sage, deep in prayer, remained oblivious. Emerging from the river, the sage felt lighter, his spirit cleansed. He turned to his disciples, a serene smile gracing his lips. He noticed the thief, his face pale, his body trembling. "My son?" the sage asked, his voice filled with concern. "You seem troubled. What burdens your heart?" The thief, startled by the question, stammered, "Master, I lost my silver amulet in the river. It was a gift from my late father, my most prized possession." His voice cracked convincingly, his eyes downcast, masking the lie that felt heavy on his tongue. The sage placed a reassuring hand on the thief's shoulder. "Worry not, my son," he said gently. "Material possessions hold little value compared to the wealth of knowledge and the strength of spirit.